And I love seeing all these chats. Welcome to people who have never been to a webinar. And thank you for all my people that I know and love being here because it gives me a great deal of comfort. So even though some of you who do know me have heard some of what I'm going to talk about today, I'm packaging this a little bit differently. It's going to be like a little bit of a story. And as most of you know, losing weight, keeping weight off, very, very complicated. Not telling you anything you don't know. So we're going to take the topics in the title of our webinar. Lots of words in here that we're going to address, right? Control, take back control, food, feelings, big deal in the weight loss world, freedom, because we feel like we're shackled with obesity, and how to heal your relationship with food and eating, which I love because it is a relationship. So I'm going to present to you two distinctly different scenarios. And then we're going to take a look at what these seemingly different situations have in common. So if you can't hear me, somebody write it in the notes at any point because I'll kind of keep those up here. I want you to picture person number one. We're going to call her Carly. Carly has been on all the dating sites. She tells people she's been on a billion first dates. She's 29. She thinks if I don't find the right one pretty soon, I'm going to be alone forever. So apparently, people outgrow the teenage angst and then they go right into relationship angst. Anyway, well, Carly keeps on her sights and she meets Brandon. And she thinks Brandon is it. He checks off all the boxes. He's smart. He's witty. He's attractive. He's attentive. They date for 3 months. My God, the man is perfect. He texts her good morning. He texts her good night. He texts her about 30 times throughout the day. He brings her special things like flowers or her favorite coffee. He watches shows with her that she likes. They continue dating, and now it's their 1-year anniversary. She thinks, well, he's not perfect, but he's pretty great. He still texts her good morning. He still texts her good night, maybe a few times during the day. Every now and then he grabs her that coffee. And he did get her flowers again on the anniversary. He still watches that show with her, but he's convinced her to watch his favorite sports teams in exchange. They keep dating. And at 18 months in, she just doesn't understand. How could he have changed so much? He barely texts her except to ask her to run an errand for him. He asks her to pick up the coffee now for both of them. And he only watches sports. They spend much less time together, and she feels lonely a lot of the time, even when she's with him. She says it was 90% him that changed. In other words, it's his fault that the relationship has gone so far downhill. She laments, I knew it was too good to be true. Her emotions plummet. She feels discouraged about the hope she had. She feels depressed about the emerging patterns in the relationship. She feels anxious. Maybe he's going to leave. Her thoughts about him and the relationship become increasingly negative. And so the cycle of her unhealthy relationships with men once again becomes increasingly unhealthy. Well, what happened? He, according to her, but we know it's both of them, they both quit doing. D-O, capital D-O. They quit doing the things that made their connection so magical. What needs to happen to make that relationship healthy again? And for good. Hold that thought. Now, meet Stephanie. Stephanie's also 29. She's been on all the diets. All the diets. She tells people she's lost 20 pounds about 1 billion times. She thinks she needs to get this weight off pretty soon and keep it off, or she fears she's going to be overweight forever. She just can't seem to find the right one, the right diet. Well, then her mom comes along and tells her about the latest, greatest diet of all time and says all the people at the office are doing it and they're all losing weight like crazy. Stephanie is all in. She's drinking the 100 ounces of water every day. She's getting the 100 grams of protein in every single day. She has sworn off all that added sugar. She keeps her carbs limited to those healthy carbs, working out 45 minutes, 5 days a week. And oh, she is downing the 4 ounces of the magical elixir, the mystery formula that she spends a fortune on every week. She's dropping weight like never before. 8 pounds the first week, 6 pounds weeks 2, 3, and 4. She remains strong, losing between 3 and 5 pounds almost every week for 3 solid months. She is excited. Then comes the bachelorette weekend in Vegas. The alcohol's flowing, her good decision-making skills flow away with every single beverage consumed. And now she's hungry, and she's hungover, and she spends the next 2 days eating solid meals, so she'll have something in her stomach to absorb all that alcohol. She returns home. Not much damage has been done on the scale, but the trip took a toll on her body. She is tired. She skips that next week's workouts. She allows herself a few indulgences from the break room at work to go with her coffee. So being thrown off her gung-ho routine after the Vegas event, she continues to drink the water, not 100 ounces every day, but maybe a good 64. She still eats quite a bit of protein, but now it's coming from drinks or bars rather than real food. Her carb intake remains reasonable, with the exceptions of those darn break room treats she started allowing back in. And we know a lot of those have that dreaded added sugar. Her workouts have slowed down to like 3 times a week, but once in a while, she'll get in that fourth. Her weight trends downward. She's averaging a pound lost every week or two. And at the 6-month mark, the weight loss stops. Her mother's given up on the diet, doesn't give her any encouragement. She's no longer as enthusiastic about the water or the protein or the exercise. And as soon as she sees that first increase on the scale, it is over. She is disillusioned. She continues to drink water. Protein remains okay. She starts eating more of those treats. The number on the scale increases. And at 18 months, she, like Carly, declares, "I knew it was too good to be true." She claims it was too hard. She didn't have enough time to work out. The stress from work got the best of her, and she turned to the break room for that sweet comfort. She blamed life for getting in the way. And like Carly, her emotions plummet. Now she's depressed about the emerging patterns in her eating behaviors and her lack of exercise. She feels anxious. Oh my God, I'm going to regain all this weight. Her thoughts about herself and the dream of creating that healthy lifestyle are increasingly negative. And so the cycle, listen to these words, friends, of her unhealthy relationship, not with the guy, but with the food and with eating, once again become unhealthy. So what happened? She quit DOing. She quit doing the things that made her lifestyle and her weight healthier. What needs to happen to make that relationship healthy again and for good? Hold that question. So we see human relationships and our relationships with food and eating really do have a lot in common, and they both require a lot of the same things to make them healthy. So let's look at that. Relationships, such a fun topic and an interesting one because we're all in relationships. We got partners, we got coworkers, we got kids, we got parents, siblings, friends, in-laws, outlaws, depending on how much you like them. And a lot of people, mostly everybody says, I want to be in a relationship. like the committed one, the intimate one, the healthy one. And yet, think about it. How many people do you know who really have a healthy relationship? Everybody wants to be in one, but most of them kind of suck, if you think about it. Most people also say they want to have a healthy relationship with food and with eating. And yet, how many people do you know who actually do have a healthy relationship with food or with eating? So, as I mentioned, these relationships really have a lot more in common than you might think. And people are built for relationships with other people. We're wired for that. We literally need connections with other people to stay alive. And no surprise to any of us, we need food to stay alive too. So without healthy relationships, people get lonely. People isolate. And guess what we know about isolation and loneliness? Well, they significantly affect both our mental and our physical health. Now, some people may have both, right? They may have the isolation related to their weight because they don't want to be out with people. They're embarrassed. They have shame, which can lead to isolation and loneliness too. But both those things, both the disease of obesity, both being overweight, having this unhealthy relationship with food, or having unhealthy relationships with people can lead to isolation, can lead to a lot of loneliness. And you know very well, you can be in a relationship with a person and be lonely. You can be in a relationship with other people and your perception of your weight keeps you emotionally distant. And so you feel isolated in a lot of ways. And isolation increases our risk of mental health issues, depression, anxiety, cognitive decline. Both of those women described above had unhealthy relationships. Both of them experienced depression, anxiety, prolonged episodes of loneliness, which can come again from feeling like you don't belong or fit in. Even if you're with a lot of people, can lead to physical issues like high blood pressure, heart disease, weakened immune system. Weight does that same thing. So again, we're looking at relationships, and we're looking at when these relationships get unhealthy, then we can have a lot of physical and emotional and biological problems. So here's the deal. Newsflash. An unhealthy relationship with food is going to result in the same things. It can result in depression. Why don't I have a normal relationship with food? I don't even know what a normal relationship with food looks like or feels like. Why can't I stick with this? What's the matter with me? And the anxiety about the weight constantly increasing, or you lose weight and then you're anxious because you're afraid you're going to gain it back. So these mental health things related to weight, same as with relationships a lot of times. And of course, you can be thin as a rail but super unhealthy, or overweight and you can be unhealthy. High blood pressure, heart disease, all of these things. All right. So you realize what I just said. Having an unhealthy or too few or non-existent human healthy relationships can have the same effect as the unhealthy relationship that you might have with food and eating. So how do we heal these things? Well, we're going to focus more, of course, on the food, because you may have an unhealthy relationship with food and not know how to heal that. But I'm here to tell you, it's the same with relationships. And it's interesting too, if you think about relationships and you know somebody who's in a really unhealthy one, maybe it's an abusive relationship, and you're like, why would they stay in that? A lot of people look at people who struggle with weight and think, why would they stay like that? And a lot of times there are some common core issues there too, like shame, like low self-esteem, like I don't have the skills to get out of this. I don't know what to do. But the first thing we all need to understand is we've got to acknowledge there's problems. There's problems with my partner, or there are problems in this relationship with food. And we have to stop, like Carly did, saying it's all Brandon's fault. He's the problem. He's the problem. In any relationship, we have to say, yeah, they do this and that and this and that. But we all also have to say, I'm doing something here. I have some part of the problem here. And with food, like Stephanie, It's like she had to recognize that, yeah, life is busy. Her schedule was busy. Her social life was busy. All these things don't lend to having a healthy relationship with food. But she is the one that stopped doing the things that work, and she can at any time resume doing those. So, in a lot of ways, we have a lot of responsibility in our relationships. We can't sit back and act like we don't have anything to do with it. So that's part of it. We have to get real honest with ourselves. And that's a hard thing to do. I'm reading through this 12-step book about addiction and recovery, and I'm on chapter 8. And it's like looking at our faults is one of the hardest things people can do. And when it comes to looking at our relationship with food, it's so difficult for us to get honest with ourselves, because it is true that our lives are busy. It is true that it takes a lot of time and effort to meal prep. It is true that our society makes it extraordinarily difficult. But that's true in human relationships too. We have to do the doing that makes the relationships healthy, regardless of regardless of the situation. So Carly, in her relationship, and Stephanie decided they needed willpower. We're going to willpower our way. I'm going to make this relationship work. I'm going to do this diet. I'm just going to dig in and grab a hold of that willpower. Well, all you have to do is do a quick Google search, and AI is going to tell you willpower alone is going to be insufficient when it comes to sustained change. Now, you can willpower your way through a little while, but you can't willpower your way through a long, sustained period of time. So if you want to have a diet and you willpower your way through, boo-hoo, look at you. You did all the things it took and you lost the weight, but you're tired. And maybe what you did to lose the weight is not sustainable. And so you run out of willpower. And it's true in relationships too, because willpower, and people don't always understand this, it's a limited resource. It depletes itself. It's like a muscle. It can be fatigued. So you willpower your way through the day to stay out of the break room and to stay away from the fast food and not order Uber Eats with everybody else. But then you get home and you're all willpowered out. So then what are you going to do? So willpower is going to help, but it's not enough. Kind of like, I always say that with weight loss, we have to have, of course, a nutritious diet. And I don't mean restriction of calories when I say diet. I mean food plan. We have to have a nutritious food plan, of course. We've got to have physical movement, of course. And then the other category that most people throw in there is behavior change. Yes, we need to make behavior change, but I'm telling you that behavior change is necessary but insufficient. And the reason I say that and believe this 1000% is because when everybody's lost weight before, you have changed behaviors. You've cut down on the carbs, or you've increased on the exercise, you've increased on the protein, you've done all the behavior change, and yet it doesn't sustain you. It doesn't keep you going. We quit doing. We quit doing. Now, doing is critical, but willpower is not going to keep you in that frame of mind. So we have to look beyond that. So willpower is insufficient. Behavior change is insufficient because we all know what we're supposed to do, and yet we don't always do it. All right. So willpower, yeah, it's going to help, but it's not going to completely get you where you want to be. So we're back to the drawing board. How do we do? What do we have to do to improve those relationships, either with people or food? So we've acknowledged that, okay, fine, I'm part of the problem. Fine. I need to look at, these are my issues. Next, we've uncovered the reality that willpower alone is not going to sustain us. So let's refresh our memories about one of these big factors that both Carly and Stephanie struggled with that kept them away from their goals of having healthy relationships. Carly with Brandon, Stephanie with food. They both became discouraged. They became discouraged when things weren't going well and they weren't getting the dopamine hit and the magic of the relationship. And that dissipated with the stopping of the doing. So he stops bringing her flowers. She stops taking him coffee. He stops watching TV with her. She stops doing whatever for him. And now we're not feeling like, oh, everything's perfect and wonderful because look at how much attention and they're giving me and they love me and I'm so important. Now I don't feel important anymore. So I get discouraged. And Stephanie got discouraged when she saw the scale start to increase. Discouragement leads to further undoing of the things that led to those happier states in their respective relationships. So I'm going through a book called Stick With It with a group of women, some of whom are here with us today. Thank you, ladies. And the author is a psychologist, and his name is Sean Young. And he talks about when people fail in terms of following through with a goal or completing a personal resolution. He says the core problem, no matter what you're trying to do, is the same for all of these ventures. People have stopped doing something. People have stopped doing something. So think about your past struggles in your relationship with food or with eating. You stopped doing something. You probably stopped doing lots of somethings that were getting you the results that you want. So I say when we stop doing the things that we were doing to get us the things we wanted, we've got to look a little bit deeper below the surface because willpower is not going to carry us. So let's look at the things we were doing. If we have a line up here and it says, this is how I want to act. This is what I have to do to maintain my value of living a healthy lifestyle. Eating healthy foods, exercising, increasing my communication skills, doing all the things that I want and need to have healthy relationships with food and with people. We know what to do. You know what to do. There's not one of you on this page that doesn't know what to do to live a healthy lifestyle in terms of food, in terms of exercise, in terms of nutrition. You probably have some things to learn, but I'll tell you what you don't all know. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you or you're not intelligent. It's because a lot of us are ill-equipped, and we're equipped because we were never taught. So hold on to that thought a minute. So here's what you do to get what you want. You know what to do. And here's you down here not doing it. So we've got this gap. What's in that gap? The things that are in that gap, which I call obstacles. What are the obstacles between you doing what you know to do? Well, let's look at a personal relationship. All right. We've got let's just use me here. Yeah. We've got my husband and we've got me, and my communication. Let's say my ego's in the way because I'm too proud to say I'm sorry, or my learned behavior of screaming before I talk is in the way. That's an obstacle in communication from putting me where I want to be in order to have that. So that would be an obstacle. When it comes to following through with health behaviors. Okay, I'm going to stick away from that. Okay, I was looking at the comment. When I don't follow through with health behaviors, like I quit doing the walking, I quit doing the protein intake, I quit doing the affirmations, I quit doing the things it takes. What is the obstacle? Well, maybe one of the obstacles are the feelings. Remember when they started feeling discouraged? And here's what happens. When we start feeling discouraged, our feelings can be a huge obstacle. And here's why. Because then we let our feelings drive the bus. Well, I'm sad. Well, I'm discouraged. Well, I'm mad at him. So I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go get his coffee. I'm not going to watch his show. I'm not going to go to the gym because the scale raised today. So I feel discouraged. So we let those feelings determine our behavior. And a lot of us know the relationship between feelings and behaviors and thoughts is so intertwined. If you imagine a triangle and we have thoughts on one end of it, feelings on one point of it, and behaviors on the other, we've got to intervene at one of those places because once one of them goes downhill, we are spiraling down. So I'm feeling discouraged. I'm not going to the gym today. What happens with my weight? It increases. So our thoughts and feelings. So maybe I'm feeling okay and maybe I'm feeling okay, but I say, you know what? I'm doing good. I'm not going to go to the gym. So now I'm feeling okay, but I quit doing the behavior. What's that going to result in? Increased weight. So that thoughts, feelings, behavior thing is a critical part of what is an obstacle between us knowing what to do and doing it. We get caught somewhere. We start with negative thoughts and we quit doing the healthy things. We quit doing the healthy things. We start seeing unpleasant results and then we feel bad. So it's really an interlocked triangle: thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So maybe you are ill-equipped with this knowledge. Maybe you are ill-equipped and you're like, well, what do I do then when I have these negative thoughts? I don't know how to do that. Most of us don't. Most of us don't even understand how we're feeling. If I were to ask 10 people on the street, well, how are you feeling? The answer I would get would be fine, which, by the way, is not a feeling. A feeling is an emotion word. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling discouraged. I'm feeling enthused. I'm feeling drained. I'm feeling worried. It's an emotion. It's not fine. Fine is nothing. So if I'm focusing on, oh my God, I gained a few pounds. This has happened before. And then I gained the weight. Now I'm feeling anxious. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. And now I'm beating up on myself. So negative self-talk is a huge obstacle between knowing what to do and doing what I need to do. And behavior training alone is not going to change that for long. I can do the thing, but if I don't believe I can continue doing the thing, which is what we call self-efficacy, I'm only going to do it for a short time. Willpower is only going to keep me there for a short time. I have to learn some emotional reservoir. I have to build an emotional reservoir. I have to learn, how do I get out of these slumps? How do I quit talking negatively to myself? Where do I go to for support? Do I have a community? Lack of a community is a big obstacle. Lack of support is a huge obstacle. So the feelings can be an obstacle. The self-esteem can be a huge obstacle. The way you talk to yourself can be a huge obstacle. The influence your parents have on you is a huge obstacle. People don't understand that. But let me tell you, in my years of experience, the thought that I'm not good enough for my parents is huge for a lot of people. Or the thought that I'll never measure up to my sister, or I'll never measure up to so-and-so who was in my 5th grade class. What? We were 45 years old. Let's learn to move past that and put that negative stuff in the past because, friends, it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle. What are your obstacles? Is it the way you talk to yourself? Where does that come from? Does that come from how you were talked to early in your life? You have to change that. Mom and dad aren't going to fix that for you. The teacher in 7th grade isn't going to fix that for you. The coach in 12th grade isn't going to fix that for you. Dr. Owen isn't going to fix that for you. Nobody can fix that for you, but we can help you learn how to fix it for yourself. What about the self-esteem issues that come from being made fun of when you were the child and you were the heavy kid? Do you think that doesn't bother you anymore today? It does. How do I know? Because you talk negatively about yourself. You've just taken over where other people left off. That's a big obstacle, my friend. That is a big obstacle. Now, before I come back and wrap this up, I'm going to point out the comments, because the comments that I'm seeing here, and I'm not picking on anybody, I'm not even seeing any names, I'm just looking at the comments, are about food. Food isn't the problem. My friends, food is not the problem. We can say food is the problem, but food is not the problem. Those are easy answers. Finding the protein, finding the thises, finding the that, the nutrition, that's an easy answer. That's an easy answer. What's not easy is doing, consuming the protein, making the fish to eat, taking the time to do it. The food is not the problem. And yet when we're dealing with diet, when we're dealing with weight loss, when we're dealing with weight maintenance, what do we want to focus on? The food, because it's easy. It's easy. I love chocolate. And this is a healthy suggestion for protein, but maybe you say, I just love chocolate. Well, maybe chocolate isn't the problem. Maybe it's how chocolate makes you feel. How can you learn to feel okay without the chocolate? The food is not the problem. So I'm encouraging you, when you're looking at the obstacles, to understand that the food isn't the problem. The getting yourself to consistently eat the healthy food is the problem. And what does that belong to? Where does that come from? So when we're looking at obstacles, people are going to throw out the easy answers first, and the psychologist is going to go, all right, let's go 12 steps below that. Because food is not the problem. Not having enough time in 99% of the cases is not the problem. But those are what we say the problems are, because those don't have anything to do with me. But friends, there could be biological problems, right? I just did a podcast recording with one of my best friends for 30 years who struggled with weight her entire life. And she is using a GLP-1, and it has stopped the food noise. It has stopped the I'm never full. So that may be an issue. It may be you have PCOS. It's a biological issue. And weight is a problem. Losing weight is difficult for people with PCOS. So I'm not saying there aren't problems outside of your mind. There are. I mean, there are medications that cause weight gain. There are medications that make it difficult to lose weight. There are medical conditions that make it difficult to lose weight. Yes, we can look at those things, and they are a reality for some people. But I will say for 90% of the people, there are, in addition to maybe some biological issues, there are some psychological issues, and we have to identify those. Maybe there's a food addiction issue. Maybe there's, but there are myriad issues. But this relationship you have with food is something we can work on by learning the tools for setting boundaries with other people. Maybe you eat to please mom. Well, maybe what you need to do is tell mom, I'm not eating that. Maybe it's a social thing. I don't want to be left out, and all we do is go and eat. So maybe we can help you figure out ways to go out and eat and be social with your friends, but have a plan in place. So there are ways to move yourself, to remove these obstacles so that your behavior comes closer to being in line with what you want for your life. All right, so we have to remember, you've been working hard. You have been trying. And what you're doing sometimes results in weight loss, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get discouraged and you go back to the old behaviors. So it really requires that somebody looks at your whole life story, medically, biologically, emotionally, and we put the pieces together so that we can identify what your obstacles are. They're going to be different for everybody, but I will tell you, all relationships require work. And all relationships, whether it be your relationship with friends, your relationship with a partner, your relationship with your children, your coworkers, they all require you do nice things for people, you know? And if you quit doing nice things for people, or if you quit talking nicely to people, relationships kind of fizzle. We have to do a lot of work to develop a healthy lifestyle. But once we learn that healthy lifestyle, it can become a lifestyle. And then it is what you do. When we remove some of those obstacles and we teach you the skills to overcome some of those obstacles, you can be freed from the obstacle and you are freer to follow through with what you want to do to create the life you want. I hope that makes sense. All right, we're going to open it up for questions, but first, somebody is going to get a free Gain While You Lose class, which is 10 weeks. It's intense and it's amazing. And you learn more about yourself in 10 weeks than you've probably ever wanted to know about your emotional health. But I promise you, it leads to good things. So I can't hear anybody, but if somebody wants to take that over, and I'll look on the chat and I'll know when it's my turn to talk again.
Yes. Perfect. Oh, just love listening to you. Thank you so much. That was such an eye opener. And yes, that is busy. I have some quite interesting questions there. So I'm going to hand over to Rebecca. She's our wellness advisor here. So we're going to know who is the winner of the raffle. So
yes,
Rebecca,
hello.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. We just had a couple participants that we couldn't identify. So one was iPad 6 and the other one was Jennifer's phone 3. So if you guys want to be entered into our raffle, let me know, just because we couldn't figure out exactly who those folks were. But if you could just type in the chat the iPad participant and Jennifer, your last initial would be great. Wendy. Okay, Wendy, we've got you down. And then let's see. Jennifer's phone, iPhone 3, if you can let us know, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a few more seconds, then we'll go ahead and draw just to be keep us on time here.
Excellent. So let's do this. How about we get some questions for Dr. Stapleton? Please feel free. You can use the chat or unmute yourself. You can get on camera. You know, it's an opportunity. Ask your question while we wait for the result of the raffle.
Yes, and Kathy, you were entered. We were able to figure out which one you were. So you were entered for sure.
That's great. Let me see. This is quite an unusual situation there. I will call Dr. Stapleton so she can at least listen to us. Really.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. So we want to get you.
Okay, and I think we just lost Dr. Oben's audio. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and draw. Carissa, would you like to be? You want me to? Yeah, I'm gonna, just so you guys know, I'm not being biased here, you know? I won't let. So we have numbered everybody. So we're gonna be pulling a number.
It's
not that one. That person did not sign on. Bigger number 2. Okay. Well, maybe I have to call the big ones out. Okay, and we have number 16, which is It's Sarah C. So, Sarah, you will be getting an email from us. Congratulations. You are the winner.
Exciting. Let's see. Let's see. Can we see Sarah? Where is she? It's
Sarah, are you on? Still on? Yeah, I see Sarah's still there.
let's
Yay! Congratulations, Sarah. We're so glad you're able to join us.
Hey,
X.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Rebecca, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's so nice of you to have my picture on the wall behind you.
Oh, that one of those is me too. So I
There's
want
my
everyone to feel
65-year-old self right there
included.
in the orange. It's me in the orange.
That's wonderful. Perfect.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Congratulations. If you don't mind, I will get you added there. Hi. So we're so excited.
Hi, thank you.
I think this is going to be just an excellent program for you. And so
Oh,
you,
this is
and you-
wonderful.
yeah.
And Connie, can you hear me? So I found you through Busy Bariatrics. I'm also a member of Busy Bariatrics. So I'll see you next week, actually.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah, I'm going to
thank
be
you.
there.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm super excited.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, Rob and I, we're like this.
I know, right?
I'm so glad you're going to be part of it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Close like you and Dr. Oben.
That's good. Okay. So let's do this. Any questions for Dr. Stapleton? You can use the chat or unmute yourself, get on video. Oh, let me make sure everyone can.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
My question is, other than the protein drinks, I eat the fish, I eat the chicken. What other options do I have as far as the intake on protein? Because I'm at the point now where I'm finding myself hungry. And I don't like that. It wasn't like that all the time. I am 8 months in from my SATI. So now I'm feeling hungry and I'm finding myself going nibbling on things, in which I know that's a big no-no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to mute my phone here just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you still hear me on the screen?
Yes.
There.
Okay. So protein, any kind of meat, skinless breasts, chicken thighs, any kind of fish, any kind of turkey breast, or even red meat is okay if it's really, really lean. Eggs, tofu, sugar-free Greek yogurt. My favorite sources of protein are cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. I eat more of those than pretty much anything.
Okay. I find myself eating the fish and the chicken grilled. But as far as other things that I can eat, I don't eat it.
Oops.
Hi, Denise. Sorry, please unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't eat eggs. I don't eat yogurt. So I'm finding it very hard for me right now. For some reason, I'm drinking more water, so I've accomplished that goal. But
That's good.
I'm seeing myself going up and down, up and down. So I'm getting concerned.
So you eat a lot of chicken and fish, right?
Yes.
So get creative with your chicken and fish and make a casserole with some really good whole grain, maybe put some beans or some lentils in there. Make yourself a casserole with some cheese and get creative.
Okay.
There's a lot of I put up this thing that was posted today in the Journal American Medical Association, and it said a clean eating food list, and it gives all these proteins and whole grains, nuts and seeds. And so I posted it and I said, get creative. You got a whole list of foods here. Get creative. Do you eat salads?
Yes.
Okay. Get yourself
Salad
some
is going
spinach.
straight through me, though.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
not fun.
No, that's not.
I would go see your bariatric
I will.
nutritionist and
Mhm.
have them help you come up with like 20 options so
Okay.
that you don't, lose your mind eating
Yeah.
the same thing all the time. But you
Okay,
can
I
get pretty
will.
darn creative
Okay.
with these food.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a problem. I understand.
Mhm.
Perfect. That's good. Um,
Here's a question.
yes.
What do you think is the biggest emotional obstacle to sustained and lasting weight loss? I think it's the way people talk to themselves and their negative self-talk, because you do yourself in every time you think, why bother? Or I can't do this, or it's too hard, or, people really beat themselves up a lot. Or if you make a mistake, we don't get right back up on it. We're like, "Oh, I give up. Why bother?" That, we need to learn that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall off that wagon, or however you want to say it. But you got to get back up immediately and go, you know what? I have the rest of the day. Those are just things that are going to happen. It's life. But the way we talk to ourselves, if we say, okay, I blew it, I get it, but here we go again. Or we garner some support. We call a friend and we say, okay, I blew it. I don't want to beat up on myself. Help me overcome this obstacle so I don't spend the whole afternoon hating on myself. And tied to that, honestly, I would say the negative self-talk is actually a symptom of self-esteem issues. So working on that and figuring out where that came from and learning to overcome self-esteem issues. Everybody has them, but some people have them to a greater degree than others. Does a significant death of a loved one trigger you to eat more food? No, but stress stress and lack of coping skills often do. I always tell people, because people will say, and research says the number one thing that people say is what led to their weight regain is stress. Well, stress doesn't result in weight gain. Eating does. Stress can lead people to eat because they lack healthier coping skills. So one of the things that a lot of us are ill-equipped with and can learn are healthier coping skills to deal with the stress. So a death of a loved one, does it trigger you to eat more food? No. But not knowing how to deal with the stress, if food is your calming source or your coping skill, then yes. Thanks, Melanie. Do I think having a good therapist is helpful? Kathy, you have two great ones, so I'm going to say yes. Oh, so Kelly says, here we go again. I'm the worst offender with this thought. That thought will do you in, right? So instead of saying, here we go again, like a native would go, here we go again, I'm back on it. Because that same few words, here we go again, 4 words, can be a negative thing or it can be, okay, here we go again. Oh, look at all these great ideas for protein. Love it. Other questions? Do you know what I love? I love that you're all here, because by virtue of the fact of your being here, you are doing. You are doing. You go, Kathy Brady. You have done amazing work with your attitude. How do you bounce back from a period of self-sabotage? Well, hopefully, if you're self-sabotaging, you have people in your life who are willing to say, look, I I see what you're doing and it scares me. So, because sometimes we don't see it in ourselves. So we need somebody who's willing to say, whoa, it scares me when I see you doing this. So we have to recognize it first. And then we have to say, here I go again, in a positive way. It's not that there won't be setbacks. There will. That's just life. I mean, I've been in my own recovery from issues and in therapy for over 30 years. I still have setbacks. Sometimes I scream at my husband when I know better communication skills. So what I do is I go and I say, you didn't deserve that. That is 100% on me. Here I go again with working toward getting my doo-doo together before I speak to you. Look at all you guys with your great ideas for
Yeah.
protein. Love that.
Quite an interesting.
I mean, people get creative, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
One time I went to a bariatric patient conference and we got very silly with protein shakes. And we made the silliest videos about creative ways to use the protein shakes, and it was hysterical. That would be a fun thing to do. Make a commercial
Yeah.
and put it online for everybody to see. What if you've tried everything and can't lose the weight you want to lose? Well, you need to be working with your physician and your medical team and a therapist and see what's going on, because maybe there's a metabolic issue. Maybe, there's got to be something going on. So I would get the team approach and work with all of them and say, oh, well, you know what, Brian? I just read this more carefully. What if you've tried everything and can't lose the weight you want to lose? Let me tell you something. You're not in charge of how much weight you get to lose. So I might say, I want to lose 45 pounds. My body is not going to lose 45 pounds. It's just not. So maybe it's an unrealistic expectation. Now, remember, we've got genetics that are part of the issue here. So what I would look at are, what are your expectations? If your expectations are, that's why I hate goal weight. Your body is going to do what it's going to do. You can do all the things. And if you can legitimately say, I have checked with my physician, I have checked with my personal trainer, I have checked with my therapist, I really am doing the things. And your body says, here I am, then there it is. And you got to learn to accept that. Because not everybody, I gave the example, I think last time, if we all went to an island and did the exact same exercise and ate the exact same thing, and we're all the same height, we're not all going to be the same weight after a year of doing the same thing and eating the same thing, because our bodies are different. So the part of your question that I would dig deeper into in an individual conversation is that you want to. Because I want to be 5'8", and I'm 5'4", and nothing's going to make me 5'8", no matter how much I want to or talk to my physician.
Yeah. Except we have this magical pills.
Yeah, I want my skin to look like it did. I want to look like the girl in the orange suit up there, even though I'm 65. Ain't gonna happen.
Oh.
I don't care if I work out 12 hours a day. That is not going to happen. I have to accept. I have to be realistic. First of all, I would never put the kind of effort required into that. This is good enough, okay? I'm going with, I'm healthy, can do things I want to do in my life. It's good enough. But if I wanted to look like that and I put the effort into looking like that, doesn't mean I'm going to turn out looking like that. Now, there's another thing you're saying here, Brian. I feel, which is not true. You're thinking. There's a difference between, see, this is why you need a therapist, everybody. I feel I can't. That's not a feeling. I think I can't lose weight. And if we think we can't do something, then we know we can't. So we got to change that talk. Okay, Kathy, biggest thing I've had to come to terms with is the scale may say I weigh more than I want to weigh, but it's not fat. There's a lot of loose skin, and that adds to the scale. Better to look at a full scan and see your hydration level, muscle mass, etc. Exactly. I'm teasing you a little bit here, Brian, but it's a common mistake we all make. Yes, numbers matter more in terms of body composition because you can see if you're adding muscle and losing fat. Anything else? Alexis, you win. Alexis, when we have our coffee next time, girlfriend, you watch what I wear into that coffee shop. Because I do have a pair. Why is it that at home, the scale says one thing, that you weigh more? It gets to be discouraged. Stay off the scale, except once a month, or only weigh on your doctor's scale, or only weigh on your own scale. They're going to be different.
No, yeah. Excellent. So let's see. Any last questions?
Mhm. I love that, Tina. When am I coming to Arkansas? As soon as I'm invited.
That's good. So yes, just talking about invitation. So for those of you who are probably in the Midwest, that's going to be easier. So we'll be having Dr. Stapleton sometime in October. So just keep look out for the email. One thing I would say is it looks like some of our emails went to spam.
Oh no.
Right. That's why some attendees had trouble with the Zoom. For some reason, it went into spam. So please keep in touch. You get notifications, updates on the date. It's going to be great right here. The greatest of all, Ankeny, Iowa. So
I love Ankeny.
it's
You
good.
know, for people who don't know, I am from Iowa. I spent the first 33 years of my life there.
Exciting.
It's home.
It's good. Let's see. Okay. So it looks like that might be it for questions.
Okay.
Well, first, thank you everyone for attending. It's just so lovely watching you can tell the struggles, right? And getting expert help from Dr. Stapleton. I just love it. As an obesity doctor, I'll tell you this. I love medications. I love GLP-1s. But there's a reason why I pay attention to this. I'll tell you, food is a major, major problem. If I can fix a lot of medications as a doctor, but there's that aspect of it. So that's why I pay so much attention to this. So be watching out your emails. You get a recording of this webinar. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd love to have, I don't know, maybe before then or shortly after this webinar, we'll definitely have another one. There is just so much to talk about weight and feelings and our emotions. Such a tight connection. So I don't know, but Connie Stapleton, any last words for attendees before we check out?
I would just want to say you guys are so fortunate to have a physician who understands that there is more to the struggle with weight than just throwing medication at it. Because it's a great thing. I'm all about GLP-1s too, but there's a lifestyle and a mental health lifestyle that goes along with it. And so many physicians don't get that. So I'm so appreciative of this connection.
Appreciate that.
I have a podcast. That's what I would tell people. Listen to the podcast, Weight Loss Winformation.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I saw that on your website. Just share that real quickly. Yep, we'll have those links in the email.
Okay, thank
you. One of Dr. Stapleton's resources, and you can just binge on them. That's a good thing to binge on.
Exactly.
Like
That's right. There's binging and then there's binging.
That's good. Well, thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
really do appreciate you all joining us, and we'll see you next time, either
Absolutely.
in
Thanks,
person
everybody.
or online. Yeah. All right.
Bye,
Bye.
all.